Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to the Banished Vault, where today we find ourselves at the entrance to essentially an asteroid field. We will get very little meaningful work done here. There's not going to be a lot of room to build on even the biggest of these rocks. But fortunately, we have prepared and we don't find ourselves in desperate need of anything. We could, in fact, just hibernate, right? We would want to buff up Ladanus' faith a little bit. Dropping to 0 is a bad idea. But we have the elixir necessary for that. And we have the stasis necessary. However, to just bounce out of here without doing anything would be like a tiny bit wasteful, potentially. Especially if we can get set up enough to at least generate some fuel out here. So let's take a quick look at our situation. Let's take a quick look here and see if we can figure out what we might benefit from. The reference chapter is the thing I want. Right, it's around here somewhere. There, here we go. All right, we're going to want to build before the end of the game. We're going to need to build 3 more scriptoria. So we're going to need 6 alloys and 6 elixir for that purpose. We certainly have that built up. We're going to need more elixir than that, probably, because we're going to start feeding it to our fellows here, our exiles. Elixir is made of silica and methane, and we got methane. We have quite a bit of methane. I suppose at the very least we could do a little silica mining before we leave. We don't have a lot of room left in the hold of the city itself, but we can keep materials in the hold of the ships. So this is my thought. It would probably be wise for us to gather some raw resources while we're here and maybe fuel. What is the fuel situation? What are we carrying inside? Okay, not really anything is the answer. We have very little fuel outside of what we have on the ship here. So again, as ever, fuel is water and titanium and carbon. Where might there be enough? This looks like it's the largest rock. Oh, that one looks pretty big. Were we to attempt to set up a fuel depot, we'd be in pretty rough shape, actually. It doesn't look like there's a good... there's not even a branch that has all 3 of the resources, is there? Maybe we should just leave. It feels like a terrible waste of just burning 8 of our 20 stasis. We will really have to make sure we build some more. But the only thing I think we can really usefully do here is we could trade some fuel for some silica. And I guess the question of whether that's worth doing comes down to how much fuel are we talking about. If we ran down to here, notice there is a strength 5 dust field there, but we don't have to move that far down. We can just stay near the root. There's still potential hazards, but yeah, I think I'm okay sending out. Let's send out one of the light ships. Obviously, we don't have to worry about thrust because there's no meaningful gravity. With the 2 highest faith characters, just enough fuel to make the trips. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about 9, 14, 15 total distance. 15 energy needed. We are at engine efficiency 175 with a ship mass of 2. Now we want to go 15 spaces. Okay, so it's going to take 3 fuel out and 3 fuel back. We may as well put in a full stack of fuel. There's no there's no sense in not carrying, you know, we're going to have to devote one slot to it no matter how much of a percentage of a stack we carry. Okay, so we get that. We bring just enough iron to construct the building, which in this case is going to be a surface silica harvester is 3 iron. If there are depth problems, we might... I will bring a 4th iron. I am comfortable throwing an iron away if it comes to it. Yeah, so we just fly out for 3, fly back for 3. We could do a similar thing with another one of the ships if we wanted. We don't have any carbon or titanium on hand right now. But how much fuel do I actually want to, like, how much fuel do I actually want to lose? What I was thinking with the carbon, if we have some, we have a full stack of water. If we had some more titanium and carbon sitting around as well, then we could at least set up a fuel depot in the next system somewhere and get fuel out of it immediately and then potentially use that to gather more ingredients. But I'm getting a little nervous about having too little fuel. I think let's just do it like this. Let's take column 3 out to this asteroid. See if we can't pull some silica. So column 3 out to here. 3 fuel. And hopefully we just won't even run into any hazards. We don't know for sure whether there will be any. Until we survey the ground, and okay. Silica's at depth 0. Looks like we are in fact going to be leaving an iron here. And that's just fine. So I want to throw you in, make a silica harvester. Bam. We wouldn't even have had room for the... right, I gotta put all this down. We wouldn't even have had room for the depth revealer anyway. Okay, and then we're just having these two produce... Yeah, I think that's the whole plan for this sector, for this system. Pretty action efficient here. This way we will not have to worry so much about the resources underlying our elixir, which means we can focus on pretty much just water, titanium, carbon, and iron in the next system, which probably will be very helpful. Okay, and that is all we can carry. Another thing we could have done, and I might have if I felt a little bit more comfortable about our overall fuel situation, is we could have just looked around at all the asteroids, just like probed them some more, because you do sometimes find, you know, things. There's always like loose resources, but sometimes other things as well may present themselves. And I don't think I'm going to do anything fancier than just throwing them back in here. We are going to pull Ledanis out to the chapel, throw 2 elixir into the thing. Okay. The Traveler's Rite is a complex process that can take weeks. An exile here will recover faith at the end of the turn if there was enough elixir. Okay. And as you can see, it did require an amount of elixir equal to the rank of faith that you are recovering them to. So 2 points of elixir to go from 1 to 2. If we wanted to do it again, it would be 3 points of elixir. And I think for the moment, I'm going to hold off on that. We're going to spend as little as possible. Throw you in there. Am I allowed to just leave the elixir here? For the sake of inventory space? We can stack that up there. Yeah, and then I think we're just moving on. We have enough stasis to exile or to hibernate. Everybody's present. Let's just leave this system. This system is very difficult to get value out of. Yep, everybody gets fed. Confirm. The other thing, again, if we had had more resources, or a better spread of resources, the correct resources, it might have been worth trying to survey for artifacts so that we could potentially break them down and get some knowledge. Just not really in that place. Welcome to the star Lissolat. Hibernation is slow, usually painful. We know this. We know the secrets of hibernation. God, I love the art for this game so much. Okay, so this is a more traditional system. We do, in fact, have a hallowed planet, and as such, a scriptorium is possible here. We have no obvious hazards. The resources needed for fuel are, unfortunately, not gathered up very well here. All three of them are present on the Scriptorium planet, but obviously, first of all, that's not looking like a very big world. And secondly, the Scriptorium itself is quite large, so it's going to be really kind of a non-starter to develop much fuel there. What are we looking at? That's a Thrust 1 trip. 6, 11, 18, geez, 26, 28 total energy to get down there. It feels to me like we are going to need more fuel. How would we handle this? How do we want to handle this? Also, it's worth noting that the branch where the carbon and titanium occur together is a 2 actions per turn branch. I think, unfortunately, before we can make many decisions, we need to figure out what this planet looks like. So I might start us with a scouting expedition, even though that is going to eat up some of our time. Alright, so if we wanted to... If we wanted to run Buttress 13 down to here, fortunately, this is enough. We can just use the small engines today. In order to make 28 energy, we're looking at 8 fuel. So it'll take a stack of fuel there and a stack of fuel back, leaving us with only 13 total fuel for other things. Deeply terrifying. Really, really terrifying. Now, if we go here and we get the stuff, we do have a stack of water. We could just start with that and then see if like there's water recoverable here that we can drag up. Yeah, because this is the only source in the entire solar system. Okay, Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Water, this is stasis. We make fuel out of just water. Totally, yeah, I'm all turned around here. We don't need stasis right this second. We should be thinking about it. But we don't need stasis right this second. And with 9 water in the tank here, we could produce enough stasis with just titanium and carbon extraction to cover 1 more trip. And we can produce a full stack of stasis. That's not so bad. I think this location is going to stretch us a little thin. Is there another... There's not another planet on the same branch as this one. There's this planet, which doesn't contain any of the resources we want, but it is at least very large. I really don't like the 2 actions per turn branch, but I think we may have to make use of it. All right. So if we're sending one ship out with... The idea is that we would go 2 alloy, 2 elixir, 2 stacks of fuel, and probably our most capable pilot, our highest faith pilot, in case there are faith problems, and just run down here, make the scriptorium, and potentially grab some water. Well, I can't fit iron into that, into the hull of the ship. So we wouldn't be able to make a water extractor anyway. And there's not going to be loose iron on the planet's surface because it's not an iron-producing world. I can potentially bring back water. All right, this is 2, 3, 4. This is only 4 thrusts to get down to here. We can bring some water with us, and we can produce a fair amount of fuel down there. And then if it turns out that there's room for the other stuff, and it turns out that there's room for the production of stasis, we can talk about that. But I think maybe let's take Air 53, which has to get up to thrust 1, and we can use one of these Caracal engines for this purpose. 160 efficiency, like it's quite an upgrade to be able to use these over the servals, and there's not that big of a difference between them and the Uncillas. All right, so the rest of the people with you piloting, pile into this thing. It's going to take us with a ship mass of 4 and an efficiency of 160 and my hand not spasming to right-click on the mouse. We're talking about a trip that is only 6 energy. Okay, it only takes us 2 fuel each way. So we only have to bring 4 fuel in theory. But I'm debating whether I want to bring more. Again, like the difference between 4 and 9 is probably effectively nothing. Well, I guess the difference is in how much we can bring back, right? If you're feeling a little nervous about this 4 fuel idea, don't worry, you're not the only one. We'll bring the water. Bring some iron, bring some titanium. Right, do I want to bring the titanium because we're hoping to be able to do a little bit of stasis conversion? I think so. The stuff we're going to put down here is a fuel producer, which costs a little bit of titanium, but there should be some on the planet's surface. I think this is fine. I think this is right. We might need an alloy, and we certainly won't want to build one. If we end up leaving it on the planet's surface, I don't feel too bad. It's 1 alloy for the actual stasis producer. Now, the danger here is that we don't have iron on this planet either. So, iron's just going to be kind of hard to come by. Am I bringing enough? Like, fuel producer, 1 iron, 1 titanium. Then if we wanted to make the other stuff happen, we're looking at 3 more iron. Yeah, we have enough. 1 stack of iron is sufficient. I'm definitely I'm getting a little worried about some of our resource levels though. All right. Let's do it. you. If I make another silly mistake, it's actually going to really cost us. So I'm trying to make sure. 2 alloy, 2 elixir. This is what it says it takes. If we get down there and there's just not enough space to build, it is going to be very, very sad indeed. All right. Start maneuvers, friends. Okay, what are we looking at here? We are looking at a fairly large area. We are also looking at a need for excavation, potentially. This is not bad. This is not bad. So the most important thing is a fuel producer. We want to bang out some fuel. Is there a place to put this where it's like particularly not a problem? I mean, this isn't bad, right? If we did this and then obviously we'd have to build a resource excavator level 1, which could just kind of go anywhere. I'm putting down all the that's right, it won't let me even place them if the building's not totally in the spot. Okay, so there's 4 there, and then the converter for the stasis could go like here. You can rotate these. I think I said last time that you couldn't because I was misremembering, but you absolutely can rotate these. The way I've set this up, this would have to cover up the silica source, which is fine. We don't really care about that, right? I don't think so. If I put it down here, yeah, it's not going to matter. Okay, so that's how all of that would go. For the moment, the only thing we're going to actually do is build the fuel producer and then pump all this water into fuel, obviously. All of it? Yeah, all of it. For the moment. So I was like, should we leave some for potential conversion? But no, I don't think so, actually. This will not take very long. Okay. Very happy to have produced all that, and we can bring back some of this stuff. Keep pressing escape to try to jump back to the map. Next turn is when you will reach the planet. So I think maybe we just sit tight for the moment. I don't know that I want to do anything other than that. If we were to head back right now, we'd take our iron and our titanium and something back. Maybe the silica. I don't think I want to just start building. I mean, I guess it's not a bad idea to just like build the titanium harvester, trade an iron for bringing back a full stack of titanium instead of a partial stack, at the very least. I don't feel too bad about that. Okay, this is the turn where we get our information. First of all, it looks like no hazards. Secondly, very large buildable space. Love to see that. So we're going to put these down on the planet's surface. We're definitely pulling back the water and probably the titanium. I was kind of hoping there'd be more surface water, but this is not horrible. Put you down. Scriptorium. I could put this down over here and there would still be room for extractors and stuff. All right. Of critical import. The gloom is largely invisible, but its effects are quite apparent, especially on solar matter. A sun grows cold to the touch, its light wispy and diffuse, before turning black. Important stuff for the people back home to know. Now, one thing that's worth noting here is that the way this is constructed, the titanium and the carbon are not, or the CO2, are not actually both available, which is kind of annoying. going to put you back on the boat. And we're going to head out. I'm going to deliver some water to them. I think we can make this work. We'll have to do a little water ferrying, and it's going to eat into the fuel, obviously, but I think we can make this work. So, if we're going for it, let's go for it, right? There'll be a CO2 harvester. And you two can start pumping. Put together a couple of stacks of resources. Probably put the alloy on the planet's surface. Okay. And carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide, and titanium. And you have so many actions and so little to do with them. So we're going to here instead of back to the ship. 30 fuel move requiring all of our 10, or 30 energy move requiring all of our 10 fuel. So it's going to be 10 fuel there and 10 fuel back with some iron. But plenty of room to set up a fuel station down here, actually, right? Like we could absolutely just do water harvester and fuel producer like that. So if I bring back a little bit of iron and titanium, we could drop somebody off here and just have them pumping out fuel. I think something like that is the plan. Sorry, I forgot. I got to put you back in the pilot seat. You do need to fly the vessel. Does this save us a little bit of fuel since we have 5 actions available? No, it doesn't save us a little bit of fuel to do it in pieces, really. Oh, because we could go 21. And then from there, 9, 13, 14, 17. So 21 and 17, which would be 5 and 4. It does save us a fuel to do it that way. And there's no really compelling reason not to do it that way. Because what's going to happen is he's going to arrive there with 1 action and then be able to plot the rest of the route from that point. There we go. And we will still have 1 fuel left over when we arrive. The escalating inefficiency of long-distance travel makes plays like that sometimes the sensible option. Alright, I see no reason not to just keep firing stuff, so let's operate. Alright, Aldo's not going to be here for a second yet. So I guess we're producing into double stacks territory. We're not going to have as much time producing on the inner planet as we would like, but remember that we will have a very high efficiency once we're there. Actually, sorry. So what I want to do here is put down these, and then you want to give me fuel. For the moment, I think we're just converting this water into fuel as well. So wait, how much iron do we need for the thing we're doing here? I want to put down a water harvester and a fuel producer, which is 3 iron and 1 titanium. So that is actually all of the iron. We're out of iron, which I think we still have a little bit on the ship. And obviously any planet we go to where we have a very little bit, any planet we go to where there is an iron deposit, there's going to be loose iron available. So any place that we would need to build an extractor, we will already have the iron sitting around. But it's just a little scary to run so thin on something so critical. Something so core to our being. And then, yeah, somebody just goes with you. I don't think it matters terribly who. And they don't need to have an action left. So they should probably produce stuff before they leave. Okay. Or do we want to take the big ship? To produce 30 energy. Yeah, the problem is that it's so expensive to move with the big ship. We bring back a stack of water. 3 stacks of fuel. It's going to have to be the small ship for right now. We can't afford for it to be the big ship. So let's just go ahead and do that because we know it's true. Once again, we can take that path that breaks it in half and save ourselves a little bit of heartache. I always do that. I always right click when I mean to lock in a location. All right, so y'all go do that. Over here, these two will work so as not to be throwing away actions, but honestly, I don't think there's any chance that we're going to need the resources they'll be producing. That said, you know, the sun's going to swallow them if we don't produce them, so. All right, do we want to just turn this into fuel? Or do we want this to be the beginning of some stasis, the water that we have here? I think we want to just turn it into fuel in this case. Because we're going to want to make a big move toward the end, probably. Sun's starting to look awfully pretty. All right, so next turn we arrive. And here for this turn we produce. Just make stuff for the sake of making stuff. All right. So one of you builds the water thing. One of you builds the converter. Hit end turn. One of you gathers water a couple of times. And then we're going to produce all of the... I guess I shouldn't have given them fuel for the return trip, right? That's silly. I was going to generate fuel for the return trip so quickly. Why would I have them carry a stack out? That's just wasteful. All right, continue to produce garbage. So I think we want to bring back a stack of water this time. But also, we only need one action to start heading back. So let's Produce some fuel. We're bringing the water with us. This is water for stasis. And I guess you produce water because again we are only going to need the one action here. Y'all are going to travel to here on your one action. 17 turns left. We got plenty of time. All the way back up to here on exactly one stack of fuel, leaving one stack of fuel to head back with. All right, there's just literally nothing else for them to do. Okay, so you guys have arrived. We're going to put the water into the thing here. And then between the two ships, we have 4 stacks of fuel. Let me look at some math. If we were to try to take the big ship down there, if we break the trip up into smaller legs, I wish I could move the energy calculator away from the center of the screen. Like we could take a 9, right? Nine is unfortunately 4. Yeah. And then it would be 10. So that's another 4. So if we were to just hop off the branch every time, it would take us 8 fuel to get here if we did it in 2 hops, or 8 fuel to get us there if we did it in 1 hop. That's fine. And then from there, 21, we know. 21 energy is 11 more fuel. So that's 19 fuel in total. Or if we wanted to make the whole trip all at once, yeah, it's considerably more expensive to do it that way. So we do want to break it up. Yeah, so 19 fuel out. Let's load the big ship with 19 fuel. And hope that I am good enough at math to have done the thing correctly here. You two get back in there, and then, like... Honestly, this planet's crew finishes the job very quickly, right? It doesn't even... I suppose technically we should have these two do work real quick. That's going to get done very, very quickly. And then you take your one action. And there's no reason for us to bring anything except fuel back. We're going to just produce as much fuel as possible and return to the ship with all of the fuel. It'll take a couple of turns for Mare to finish building the stasis stack and then run the stasis stack back with a bunch of fuel as well. Yeah, okay. And we have enough time. We should have enough time. 8 plus 11. Yeah, I'm so nervous that I did something wrong here and we're going to get stranded and it's going to become a whole complicated problem. You are just producing stasis. And then again, producing stasis. Congratulations. Do I want to take the 2 fuel back? They're going to come back with a lot of fuel. Would it be better for the ship for me to bring back like a whole stack of titanium maybe? Maybe. Let's do it. And then you're just headed back to here, which isn't easy enough. Oh, I didn't put the guy in the thing. There we go. Okay, you're headed back, which will be a next turn kind of concern. You have to make it all the way to here on exactly all of the remaining fuel. We're going to have 15 actions per turn for a few turns here to produce fuel with, though, and I think we're going to end up in a pretty okay spot. Not this first turn, of course. So, water, fuel, and fuel. Okay. And you are just headed back home. At the cost of a single fuel. Okay, back home with insurance stasis. So you are going to offload this stuff. And then I'm going to have him run to here. A 17 energy trip on this engine is 4 fuel. We're going to be bringing back a bunch of healthy fuel. So I'm going to leave you a stack. And we're going to see if we can't grab some iron. Hopefully there'll be enough loose iron on this planet that we can set up a little iron mining and just grab more. Return with more. So yeah, start that maneuver. Okay, and then down here we produce a shit ton of fuel. Yeah, that's going to take no time at all to be a full cargo hold. Should I bring back a stack of water as well? I guess is a reasonable question. Let's plan to do that. Because water is like highly compressed fuel, effectively. So water. Okay. That's enough right there, and we can just leave next turn, and yeah. Okay, Ledanis is still, Amir is still traveling. So once again, it's only going to take one action to leave. There's no reason for us not to pump out a bunch more water and turn it into fuel. And just have a bunch of fuel on the surface of the planet for whatever. What if we make a return trip? What if we have time to get back? Okay. Take your one action and let's go. So back to here at a 28. Without running the numbers, I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is the right thing to do again. Because we can't really do better than a 21-point initial move. An 8 is going to be like nothing at all. So we're not going to get back with a full cargo hold, but it's still pretty good. It's still a pretty decent amount. Alright, what have you discovered? 4 iron just sitting there, and some methane, which probably we don't need. Don't pick all that up, sorry. Make me an iron harvester right here all the way in the corner. Okay, fantastic. Alright, they need to be given orders again. I suppose it's technically Aldo who's getting the order. So it's 15 all the way back here, huh? We could do it as a 10 and a 6. So that would be 4 plus 2. Yeah, which is it's a very slight efficiency gain. The math just keeps breaking down in the direction of that being the right move. Okay, at this point it is 3 to go there. It would be 2 to go. Yeah, this is... At this point we do just want to go directly back. But so, okay, we spent 2 stacks exactly of fuel there. That's not too bad, really. We came back with a lot. And we got our scriptorium. And we're making iron. You know what? I made an error there, actually. I might have wanted to derail for a turn to drop a second person off. What? It won't matter. It won't matter. But yeah, there's a chance I could have made it back with slightly more iron than we're going to. We can, while y'all are at the base, throw Villainous into the chapel for a turn. Then throw Ledanus into the chapel for a turn. May as well compress this time a little bit. And we can keep going past the timer, remember. We're pretty far away from the core of the system, so the gloom creeping in from the star will take some time to reach us. Do I want to get to 3 full stacks? Like, maybe. It might be worth it. So let's pull you out of there so that you don't go drinking a bunch of extra elixir. You should also be in the thing. Alright, so when we hit 0, it's the turn after 0 that this whole area this whole branch will get gobbled. We have a little bit of time. A little tiny bit. Okay. So every turn after this one, the solar system is slowly consumed. Just like in real life. So we're getting 3 actions per turn. I want to make sure I don't miscalculate here. Next turn, this gets gobbled up. We produce the last 2 points and we run. We're good. We're fine. We're good. So it's produce, throw it all in the thing. Use your last action to get all the way home in a single move for 4 fuel. Yeah. The scriptorium itself is gone, but the pages that we added to the chronicle therein are safely with us. And this is about as close as you can cut it. Yep. Alright, get home. get in here. Let's throw all of that in there. And we have a bunch of extra fuel and silica and water. And I am honestly feeling pretty all right about our situation, even though the thing that is even though that's about as close as you can cut it. So let's do it. Let's begin hibernation. Let's get the hell out of here. We have enough stasis and faith to safely hibernate all our exiles. So I could be doing this slightly more efficiently, right? We could be waiting for the exiles to hit 0 faith and then faithing them up on the other side at the cost of 1 elixir each. But obviously to fix that on the other side, to fix that in the new system, requires us to spend turns at the beginning of the new system instead of turns now where they're idle. And I don't really want to stage our movement away from the city, although in this case we totally could have, right? Because we had a bunch of time where most of the exiles weren't doing anything. Weren't doing anything that mattered. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm doing that the wrong way. There is a tighter way to do it, but this way feels safer to me. It gives us the opportunity to really to come out of the gates really fast. I don't know. Let's make sure everybody gets their drugs and confirm. Each turn gain 1 additional action. Man, what a good bunch of knowledge is good. We should get some knowledge. Okay. We have reached Relhalet. A dead ship drifting and lifeless ran aground here centuries ago. An abandoned ship has been discovered in this system. Wow. Okay. So, alright, it looks like an asteroid field at first, but there are planets here. And in fact, there is even a hallowed world, and it seems to be a largish one, although 3 thrust. That's bad news. We actually can't get 3 thrust on the big ship, right? I guess I use the little ships to do the scriptorium run most of the time anyway. But yeah, look at how heavy the... Okay. This is going to be a challenging one. It is also going to be a not right now one. I'm trying to take on slightly less per episode than I did in that first one. So that is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, we will try to figure out if we can get another scriptorium setup going in this system, and we will investigate this mysterious abandoned ship. I don't know what I think we're going to find in there, but I'm very excited to see it. So come back for that, and we'll see you then.